All right, so I said this goes on every day. It's just that this morning they decided that they were going to continue to do what I've been posting about. This is the Conspiracy Broadcasting Network, where I have been followed around by technology that is literally tracking me like I'm a fucking animal. They're using some type of GPS technology. I was told by somebody in my school years ago in my master's program that there's some type of GPS satellite that's being used to track me and some type of grid. And then whenever I confronted him about it, he says that he never said it. So this whole campaign is just this big operation of narcissism. And really it's war, because when someone says stop, or when someone says leave me alone, stop harassing me, and they've been doing it for years, and then you go and find out that no one believes anything that you're saying, but objectifiably none of it is probable and none of it is statistically appropriate. And so you have people who are willing to lie to your face and continue to do this type of behavior. And the thing about it is there's thousands of people involved. Okay, this isn't just your friends and your family. This isn't just intimate coworkers. This isn't like your school. It's everybody and everything, everywhere you fucking go, 24/7, 365, every hour, every day, every week, every month, every year. Okay, and this has been going on without the covert harassment for years. So the most I can remember was back when I was a teenager, probably around the age of 12 or 13. This shit has been going on, but they did it subtly and they were finessing and feathering the abuse, especially my parents. Okay. The food poisoning with my parents, that began back in around the age of 12 was the first time. Okay. Where they started facilitating this physical trauma and this whole food poisoning piece every couple of years, and all of this psychological abuse to make sure that I'm not being led appropriately, to make sure I have poor communication skills, to make sure that I'm, not making any grounds with ADHD, to make sure that I'm not doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, and instead it's this narcissistic abuse and gaslighting and prepping me for adulthood. Okay. I want to make a video about that, but today what we're going to witness is years down the road, today at present. Okay. At the age of 35, I have thousands of people who I don't know, but they know me. Okay. Literally aware of where I go before I go, and they ambush and stage these psychosocial fabricated incidences, either at work or at the grocery store or wherever I go, even out in the woods to go fish. They have things staged there, like lures that I may use to mock me. Okay, and I can have a huge conversation about it, but today's video is about me waking up this morning, okay, around 9:30, and deciding that I'm going to go grocery shopping for the week. Let's look at the screen share. So I wake up this morning and decide that I'm going to diddy bop to Wally World and go and get some groceries. And the second I begin to leave, lo and behold, I am intercepted. Go figure. All right, so I'm intercepted this morning. You could see the time at 10:36. Okay. And I'm intercepted by this gray vehicle. This is a gray truck, gray, silver, whatever you want to call it. And here comes the anchoring, right? This is the anchoring that they have facilitated already, literally seconds within pushing the accelerator of my car to the street intersection. Okay. timing that I'm coming through. So I get going and I get behind this guy, and lo and behold, my neighbor right here, this is a Hispanic couple with a huge family of kids. These people usually have a red SUV here. This is the abuse that I was talking about with the whole red vehicle piece and the red SUV. Is they keep a red SUV here all the time. Matter of fact, they've had this here for over a year, and all of a sudden lately, within the past week or so, or week and a half, they started changing it up and start parking only the silver car here. Okay, I want to reverse real quick because this right here, okay, this red SUV began coming here probably, I think I said like maybe 7 months ago or something like that, but it wasn't ever here. I've been here for over like a year and change, almost 2 years now. And this red vehicle has never been here. It's just recently, like this late summer, basically, to now, this red SUV has been here. And my neighbor, this Hispanic, go to the kitchen, they make sure there's a red SUV parked just today. Like the red SUV will still come maybe like 3 or 4 days out of the week, but it just seemed like this morning for some reason they weren't here. But there is a red SUV parked here where this gray car is. Okay, it's more times of the week than not. Okay, so all of a sudden we have this keeping shit around your house, right? Not only my house, not only do I have people stalking me like the tenants in the past inside my house and vandalizing the house, okay, petty vandalism. Not only do I have shithead police officers who are conspiring in the color of law, okay, and deflecting and being neglectful, right? And antagonizing and allowing this to occur. All right. But I have people who are literally, I don't know them, okay, but they know me. And what happens when you confront these people, they act like they don't know you. They act completely oblivious to the behavior, which is the craziest fucking thing, right? All right. It's just like when you confront someone about restraining patients in the ambulance, they use deflection, right? And they talk about themselves instead of what was addressed and what was spoken of, saying, well, it's about me and whether or not I want to be restrained, yada, yada, and ignoring me, right? When I specifically did mention my conversation was about the patient being restrained in the ambulance, okay? Same thing. This is nothing but deflection. And so when we follow this truck, immediately he wants me to see this truck, wants me to see him driving gray and silver. This is anchoring from the second you begin your transit, right? They've staged this vehicle here on the hill on the left. Okay. You got one on the right here, and all of a sudden this is the predominant, what they've done predominantly. So people have come and visited the families or whatever, because it's New Year's, whatever. It's Sunday, it's the weekend. People are over other people's houses. And so now they have staged along my transit all of these gray vehicles, okay, along my transit. Gray, gray, gray. And this truck intercepts me to make sure that I see this, okay, to make sure that I'm anchored in visually, okay, that the stimuli is about this gray and silver. And so now you have, I'll just play it right here. Okay, he's pulling out slow and everything, making sure. And then this guy turns off. Like his sole purpose was to make sure that I'm stimulated mentally over this abuse of provoking and antagonism. And then they have gray here, right? And then it continues. All right. So then I'm on my way. And of course, they have the color pattern waiting for me here. There's this color pattern of white and red. This is common. White and red color pattern, just like the color pattern of my parents. Okay, that's super common. And then, of course, you've been stigmatized by the white SUVs everywhere you go. So, of course, you're going to pick up on it. We talked about they come around the corners, right? We talked about that, right? We talked about that in other videos. It's not just vehicles coming down the road. It's always them coming around the bends, coming around the corners, right? And in this case, it's about him matching a similar color pattern, okay? So this is about distracting you and keeping your mind busy at all fucking times. And of course, what you have is a gray vehicle. So come look at me, right? Look at me, here I come. Gray vehicle, silver vehicle, whatever you want to call it. Here comes another one. So this is the anchoring techniques that I'm talking about whenever I go places. So then I have to sit here and wait and watch these gray silver vehicles drive by, right? As I've been anchored in this case from inception of my departure. Okay. And then you have this, you've seen that. So then what they do, they drive a blue vehicle come by, and then you're sitting there waiting, right? And then what happens to come by next? Another blue vehicle, right, at the light. And this is what they're doing, is they're taking, and you have to go to work. I'm going to post a picture of me running 911. Okay, here's a blue vehicle, okay, matching the one that just passed. And so what this is about is, look at me, I want your attention, right? We're going to abuse you and harass you everywhere you go and terrorize you everywhere the fuck you go, right? And so, oh, look, you know, and then look at me, silver gray, which is the most commonest, one of the most commonest is silver gray, right? Colors in general, like color palettes. And then white is very popular, right? Okay, so I'm going here. And I keep going. And then this black SUV. Now, in my videos, you're going to see a lot of black SUV. Okay, I'm going to stop screen sharing and go back to my video. Real quick, I want to talk about this whole black SUV piece. So because society or this community of people, okay, it does seem to be my family is involved. So I'm going to say because society, okay, everybody is what I'm going to say. They're using this SUV, which is linked to a relationship that I had back years ago, very briefly when I was dating a female named Kirsten Mail. Okay, I was dating this girl named Kirsten Mail. I thought she was like if there was a physical, like a female physically that I was like the most attractive to, it was probably her, right? And me and her went back and forth, and so there was a physical attraction, and there was this this connection, basically. Long story short, I disconnect and separate, and so there was a lot of abuse going on her. Like, I didn't understand her behalf. She has a whole backstory, but the piece about it is they're using her as a stimuli of abuse ever since I met her, because she drove a black SUV. And this is what I'm talking about, which is we're going to come in and establish a connection exclusively so we could use it later as abuse, right? For example, the ambulance service that I recently was training with was named Shoals. They know that I fish. So they're going to use, and they know there's rivers and stuff around here, and we like to traverse and portage shoals on those rivers, right? So that's always there lingering when I say the term shoal. And what they're doing is they're taking a network of people, a network of places, and then a network of abuse, and making sure it's tied together and interlinked with my personal life at all times. Taking away my sexual life, taking away my finances, taking away my assets, targeting my hobbies, and using my hobbies as abuse, such as my fishing or weightlifting, right? Conspiring to deliberately physically injure me with my right Achilles tendon, right? Physically giving me STDs, using crowd influence and controlling the people in whom I have relationships with. And then those women are always aware and in control, okay, and then start slandering and defaming me about what I'm doing and I'm not doing it, right? And so that's what this is about. This is about orchestrating abuse and a connection, right? And this is why I can't get a job specific to where I want to work, because they're not worried about plugging me into a workplace that is functional for me. They're worried about plugging me into a workplace setting that has abuse and is associated with abuse, and how they can orchestrate abuse in the future. Not about orchestrating abuse just at present with the persistent harassment, stalking. Not just that, but we want to make sure you're working in a place that has people and coworkers that are associated with certain names, right? Certain hobbies, certain interests, certain cars or vehicles, certain license plates. We want to make sure that there is an association, okay, of abuse and trauma everywhere you go. Okay, so this is why I can't just apply to somewhere and get the job, especially if it's a job of isolation where I'm working autonomously and where I'm working independently. They want me at all times working around other people, and those people are specifically handpicked to establish a relationship with me. Okay, they're specifically handpicked to draw me into a problem. Okay, and this has been the entire program, okay, ever since I began work as, I think, 18 years old or 17. Okay, this has always been the problem. So every job I go to, I'm surrounded by douchebags, literally, who do exactly the opposite of what's professional. Okay, and then what happens is when I report it or I just ignore it, then those same people will smear me, okay, and then get me out of the position. And they have me jumping from job to job to job to job to job to job. We'll talk about that later. But this whole black SUV piece is Kirsten Mail, okay, this female that I met up there in the DMV, okay, who has a connection with me, okay, and they're using this because they know that I have a physical connection, that I thought she was attractive, right? And that there was some type of connection at one point. Okay, but she also abused me in the same token, verbally, right? Sexually, right? This female. So the thing about it is now they're taking this black SUV, and you're going to see these black SUVs a lot. They will frequent me a lot, okay? And they will always be driving in front of me a lot, okay? And that's what that whole black SUV piece is. You can go to other videos and you'll see there's these black SUVs everywhere. The color black, very common. Maybe black SUVs are common. But the fact of the matter is, it's just like the white SUVs in frequency, it's also black SUVs, not always in numbers, but always in the picture, right? Always in the picture. And so she comes in exclusively to make sure that because the vehicles, okay, in the world, for example, okay, all have different colors, now they're going to start establishing, what is this? Now they're going to start establishing these associations and these connections, okay? And so that's where I'm talking about black SUV. Back to screen share. All right, black SUV. So it's gonna just do what it does. And then there's this red vehicle, right? You thought that maybe you left home today wasn't going to be about red vehicles, right? You thought you were going to be lucky, right? And this is how they abuse you. So they make sure that the red SUV, the red vehicle, the red things are gone, right? And then all of a sudden you're about a third of the way there, half of the way there, and they pull up on you, right? Pull up in front of you, get in front of you, yada yada. You go. Okay. So you go, and whatever, right? And he's going to drive in front of you. And then you've got this silver vehicle, gray vehicle waiting here, right? And so you're in tune of this whole gray silver piece, and you're not really sure what to think. And you're driving, right? And everything is relatively colorless. You see this? I'll just play it. I'll just play it. As opposed to any other like any other vlog, it's relatively few of colors along the transit to my Walmart. Okay. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I guess I'll just do it kind of fast. Right. And so all the vehicles, even in the opposing lanes, they're just neutral. Okay. Neutral. No white SUVs. Right. Well, there's one. Okay. Big whoop. I have, an understanding of what it means. Obviously, I wouldn't have, a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree. But long story short, I notice as I get closer, they start popping up again. Okay. So there's these periods of abusing you where they take it out of your visual field and then they bring it back in. And this is how the abuse works. So you got this white SUV on the left here, right, driving by, and then there's one on the right waiting at the light in the cross section. Red vehicle. So it goes in these waves, which you would say, okay, well, this is the part where it's probably normal then. But watch what happens whenever I finally get to this destination. All right, so I'm driving, whatever. Driving. And I get here to the destination. All right, so I'm at the destination, yada, yada. Okay. Just remember where I park here. And remember what it looks like. So I park right here. Okay. Now, I go do what I have to fucking do. Okay, I go do whatever I have to fucking go do. Close out. And I come back. So this is me closing out right here and leaving the vehicle. Go do my errands for about 20 minutes, make the purchase, come back, and lo and behold, turn on the vehicle. And what is here? So they stage a red truck beside me, and then they have a red vehicle driving past me as I am sitting down to make sure that I see the red vehicle. You notice the red vehicle is passing as I'm maneuvering the shield. Okay, as I'm maneuvering the heat shield, this red vehicle is driving by me. So that as I unveil the shield and put it away, I see a red vehicle driving by. And lo and behold, what's here in the parking lot? Okay, so here, this is the anchoring. This is what I'm talking about. All the places in the world to fucking park. You've seen where I park. Look where I park. Look where I park. Got all the space in the world. You can park wherever the fuck you want to park. Right? I park right here. Look where he parked. Look, there's a colander right there. Look at the light post right here in the middle of the screen. There's a light post there, okay, which is partially obstructing the space. And this douchebag is so adamant about harassing me that he parks there. Of all the places, of all the fucking places. See, this is where I turn off the vehicle here, and then I come back. Of all places, this douchebag was adamant about parking there, just so that this shows intent, just so he can aggravate me and harass me. You see that? Look, I'm going to play it again. You have all this parking place, all these parking places. There's a post there. No one would say, okay, let's just park in front of this post. I don't know anybody who would fucking say it. I don't know. I just don't know of anyone who would make the decision in an open parking lot. Let's go back to the open parking lot and appreciate the open parking lot. Okay. I don't know of anyone that would say, let's go park where there's an obstructing parking space. Okay. And not only that, but I'm to the side. I'm to the side of the opening. Like these right here are the main openings to the grocery store, and I'm spaces away. Like he could have parked between this cart rack and this vehicle. There's there's two or three spaces right there, right? But this douchebag, again, a guy I don't fucking know, knows me, chooses to park where there's a fucking pillar. No one would do that. No, there's no likelihood that somebody would do that shit. That's showing intent. That's intent. Okay. So I lock it up here, put my heat shield on, walk in the store, and then I come back, turn the vehicle on, camera power's on, and now there's this. The guy has parked by the pillar, right in front of the pillar parking space. Nobody would do that. This guy has intent. This is intent. And then what they do is they harass you, knowing that you have to walk around it because you have to enter your vehicle on the right side. You have to enter your vehicle on the right fucking side, which is your passenger side, in order to load your groceries. Meaning you have to come into this vehicle is going to enter your personal space. Okay, it's going to be in your personal and intimate space. Okay, a term called proxemics. And this is intimidation and harassment. Okay, by law. Intimidation and harassment. Being present, okay, and annoying and harassing me while I'm fucking grocery shopping. Right? I have to get between this red truck and my vehicle in order to open up my fucking door safely and without bumping into anything. And I have to be cognizant of what I'm doing with that car. And I have to walk past it with this asshole parked beside me. Okay? With intent. This is obvious evidence of intent. And then they know I have to take the heat shield off, decides to make a pass through while I do that so that I see them. And then they have this there. So it went from relatively low abuse, like moderate abuse, to all of a sudden turning up and making sure that they invade my personal and intimate space, okay, with proxemics, knowing I have to navigate around and in proximity of the red vehicle, the red truck in this case, okay, to put my fucking groceries away. And then I have this white SUV staging here in transit. And as I come to the vehicle, I come to the intersection, there's this gray silver vehicle. Again, it's a gray silver truck. Just like whenever I started up the vehicle and I drove away from the house, you have the same fucking shit, the same scenario when you left your house is now reanimated again to do the same shit, to intercept you. This is harassment. This is intimidation. This is annoying somebody. And this is stalking. And this is specifically greater cyber stalking because they're not able to do this without accuracy and precision without that technology. So they're using technology, remote technology, in order to track my physical location. So I go, and now we're back doing this dumb shit again behind a gray silver truck. So we're behind this gray silver truck, and he finally pulls off and does what he has to do, right? His mission's fucking accomplished. And the other thing about this is that they weren't just showing me the gray silver truck, but for some reason, just like in the neighborhood when that second truck pulled up, they had 3 trucks for some reason. They're trying to show me a pattern of trucks for some reason, just like they did in the neighborhood when I departed my residence. So I'm driving. He does what he's got to do. His mission apparently is complete, his abuse. And so now they have me pawned off to these white SUVs. So I pawned off here, and I have to stop here. And then they have this inundation of white SUVs following me around, right? So I'm just going to play here. I stop here. White SUV pulls up, okay? And then another one, right? And then another one, right? Let's just play this whole skit right here from about right here. They want to inundate your visual field with white SUVs. And here comes another one on the opposing lane. And another one on the opposing lane. and another one over here in the donut shop, right? So within a matter of, I don't know, how many seconds was that? 11, so 10, about literally 10 seconds. In a 10-second time frame, okay? Within a 10-second time frame, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So they had about 6 SUVs, including, yeah, 6. Okay. Show up all white at that intersection. And then they have me follow them all the way back to the fucking house where eventually I turn off. Okay. So I try to go around, and then there's one up here, yada yada, and there's some more passing on the opposing side on the left, and another one, right? And so they keep these in front of you so that anytime there's an SUV on the opposing lane, or anytime there's another white SUV either parked somewhere to your left or your right, or even it's like this one right here on the right, or even down the side street like that one that just passed, you see? So what they do is they'll use that as abuse, and they'll anchor you in. Okay, so let's pawn them off and then, abuse them with white SUVs. So they'll sit there and they'll drive in front of you and make sure that you're anchored in with this stigma. Okay, there's another one over here. And so you're driving and you may even ignore it. But if you look down the street, let's just say you're at a stop sign or something and you go left, right, and you're looking like in the car wash, then all of a sudden you're going to see one parked down there, or you're going to see one driving on your accord, driving on a parallel side street, crossing, just as you're driving across as well. And it's just nonstop. Nonstop. And then I do this turn. Remember I talked about the on-ramp, off-ramp piece, and they use this intimidation maneuver. It's like a fighter plane coming by you, and if you're in a plane and they're in a plane, it's like them coming and like passing over the top of you or something, or passing beside you and then banking real hard. It's the same thing. It's the same sensation, right? It's the same sensation, like that. Like you're in a plane almost, and then they come to you and then they bank off you and they go about their way. But they do it in a coordinated fashion, and they do this right here at this point, this junction right here. Just like you've seen in my last vehicle regarding vehicular harassment. The same fucking thing. Okay, and they'll do it oftentimes after that abuse. That's the other thing. It's always in concert after that abuse. So after I've gone through this and the whole red truck thing, right? After I've gone through that and this white SUV anchoring me and sitting in front of me, right? After that, they will then intimidate you further and then do this whole bullshit banking piece / intimidation run by piece. Every time you come off or on this shit, especially when you come off of it. I'm very surprised that he's actually not in lane 2 and he's in lane 1 in this case, but it's probably because I'm taking up. And the thing is I'm not surprised, I guess, because if he was in lane 2, he'd be behind me. But lane 1 is the only way for him to show this intimidation / abuse or aggression and bank as I'm banking, okay? Or make it feel as if he's banking, but really I am. But anyways, so, and then you come down here and yeah, you just keep going. And here's the thing is I come off this road and they've got this red SUV like / cruiser. You go, and then right here you have another one. See how that works? It's just always something. It's like you can't just drive without some type of perpetual irritation. Perpetual irritation. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So that's what happened today. And I have to take this time out of my life and document this shit. I have to take this time out of my life and think about, instead of being prepared for boards, right? And then the thing about it is these same vehicles and these same people, okay, these people have been doing this while I'm working as a paramedic. And not only that, but there's nurses. I'll get into that on another video. I'm going to get into this on another video. I'm going to say one last thing is they've been using this color coordination bullshit while I'm taking patients in, doing the best they can to constantly distract me, okay, and driving on my accord. And they'll do that shit while we're driving hot with patients on board, interfering with contractual obligations and professional work. These are thousands of people that I don't know, but they know me, okay? Go as far as to turn off my cell phone communications, go as far as blocking my communication when I'm making pre-hospital calls to the ER, pre-arrival communication to the ER or wherever I'm working. These people are toggling my phone, going through the phone and making sure I don't have a connection, doing whatever they can to undermine and sabotage everything that I do.